Office of Postmaster General and Inspector General of the Post Office, saying, "Hey, here's the I have sworn affidavit of a high-ranking official that Obama's registration is a forgery. The stamp is a fabricated postal stamp. Criminal complaint. I want you to take action." That was over a year ago, and I got one response where they stated that they forwarded this to the fraud division, and they demanded a report and action within 30 days.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I mean, we have a guy with a fabricated selective service certificate, stolen social security number. Nothing is being done.
Members of the federal government
are covering up. It's
are
worse
not allowing the investigation to go through.
Yeah, this is a case of obstruction of justice. This is a case of unprecedented corruption and fraud and criminality in federal government and, of course, state government in Hawaii. And I hope that us, you know.
And you're appealing this right now.
Well, no, this case actually is not being appealed yet.
Right.
What happened is the federal government was supposed to respond. They did not respond.
Right.
And just today, I got a response. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I got a phone call from the chief attorney, chief U.S. attorney, chief of the civil department of the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Department of Justice, Daniel Franklin Van Horn, and he stated that the complaint with all this information and summons that I sent by certified mail, and I provided proof, they got it by certified mail, disappeared. It disappeared from the Justice Department. He said it was misplaced, and they are looking for it, and they cannot find it. This is, I mean, aside from saying that the dog ate it, that they used each and every excuse. So that's.
But you're having this problem, that's why you're making this other appeal. Now, you're here to talk a little bit about a court case. We can do that briefly, and then I would like to talk about some of the fraud that you found out through your investigation as it pertains to ballots, election
Absolutely.
ballots.
Well, that's the case here in the state of California, and I hope that people will come to court. It's going to be October 23rd, 9 a.m. It's going to be in the 4th District Court of Appeals in Santa Ana, 601 Santa Ana Boulevard, Santa Ana. I hope as many people as possible show up there. And this case is about a number of things. One, of course, is Barack Obama's bogus IDs. It's about records from Occidental College and, of course, invalid ballot registrations and elections fraud here in California, which is, from what I see, is just rampant. And I filed this case. As you know, I ran for office. I ran for U.S. Senate. This is the second time I'm running. As you know, in 2010, I ran for Secretary of State and got over 500,000 votes. This time, I ran for Senate. So I could file a challenge as a voter and as a candidate. And I provided all this information, and the presiding judge basically covered it all up. And it's interesting that he waited until November 6th to see which way the wind is going to blow during the election. And next morning, on November 7th, he dismissed the case. And one of the issues is the fact that Barack Obama went to college here in California, Occidental College. And in his college registration, in his college application, he had to put down his legal name, his date of birth, his citizenship. I have here, for example, records from his mother's passport, and this is his mother's passport application and registration, and that's part of her passport. He was listed in his mother's passport under the name Soebarka, last name Soebarka. And what's interesting that when his mother went to renew her passport, and that was in Indonesia, he was removed. Do you see, he was crossed out from the mother's passport. And there are explanations saying in which cases a child would be removed from his mother's passport, and that's in cases where he gets foreign citizenship, allegiance to another country, which in that case was Indonesia. So we have evidence that he was removed from his mother's U.S. passport because of his allegiance to Indonesia. We have his school records from Indonesia. So it was a valid request.
But yet, Occidental College and Colombia will not give you any records.
Refuse, and Barack Obama refuses. Why wouldn't he provide the public with redacted records just to show his citizenship, date of birth, and legal name?
Well,
because all of it is fraud.
The hypocrisy of this is amazing. The public might not remember, but I remember during the elections of 2000 and 2004, people were calling Bush dumb and that he wasn't qualified because he didn't get very good grades at Yale University, and that school actually provided his grades.
Exactly.
And yet this school won't even give us an application of how he applied. We're not asking for his grades.
Yes.
At these schools.
Well, actually, I was able to go to Student Clearinghouse, which is an organization that provides records of students, and they stated that Barack Obama went to Columbia University only for 9 months and not 2 years as he claimed. He lied, and I have the record. And then when I made it public, they said, oh, it was a mistake, accidental. Not only, before the election, I requested from the judge to allow me to get those records. I subpoenaed, I issued, I asked for an order to compel release of a redacted record, just 4 words: his name, first, last name, citizenship, and date of birth. And the judge, not only he denied it, even though it is really, it is not a private matter, it's a matter of public domain. The public has a right to know.
Right.
He already made it known because he stated, this is my legal name, Obama, which is a lie. His legal name, according to records, is either Soetoro or Soebarka. My citizenship is a U.S. citizenship. Lie. There isn't one valid U.S. ID. And we have evidence of his citizenship in Indonesia.
Part of this process, you came across some pretty alarming information regarding election fraud.
Absolutely.
And we only have 4 or 5 minutes left. Let's talk about that.
Yes, what's happening in the state of California is a complete mess. Nothing, absolutely nothing is being verified. And I used somebody who was a relational data specialist from NADA, Mr. George Collins. We got the information from Secretary of State. And there are several areas where you have to provide information. For example, where were you born? There were people who did not put any information, and we have an email from the office of the Registrar of Los Angeles saying that when they don't put information, he told his employee to actually falsify records and put US or USA, to write that they were born in US, even though there was no such information. He was supposed to send registration back to this person, tell him fill out necessary information.
Right.
Instead, he told them to falsify records, and that's the registrar of the biggest county, Los Angeles County. If we were to have judges who do their work, who are not corrupt, somebody like this registrar would be in prison just for that, never mind anything else. We have people who are registering by mail, and do you know that they're not supposed to put their driver's license? They don't have to put their driver's license. They don't have to put their social security number. And the only thing that the Secretary of State is supposed to do according to federal guidelines, just assign a number. You can put any number. You can have God knows how many dead people voting, how many bogus made-up names, how many illegal residents voting. Now many of them are getting their driver's licenses. I mean, the California elections are a complete fraud. We simply cannot find one honest judge who would do anything about it.
Well, what's sad to me is, some of these elections are relatively close, and to have as many as, according to the experts you've talked to, as many as 1 million+ people.
1.5 million invalid voter registrations, and the judges cover it up.
Right. The fact that they are not the ID or any kind of identity is being checked up. I think of myself and my son or anyone going to a bank and just cash a check or show your ID for anything. A movie house.
Yeah.
You go to a movie house and you're under 17, you have to show ID. Because if they don't allow you in over a certain age, at a certain, like if it's an R-rated movie. But yet, here we are, and a very important function of our citizenship to vote, and they don't even check up on that. And with all the illegal aliens in this
and they do it intentionally.
country.
It's intentionally. The Democratic Party has a stronghold on this on the state. They want as many bogus voter registrations. They can put their people. For example, you know, they said the people of the state of California are so different from other states because they voted to increase their own taxes. Nobody could believe it happened.
Right.
It didn't happen. We didn't vote for it. Bogus voter registrations. Bogus voters voted for it. And of course, you know, it's a huge pot of money. They raise the taxes so that the state government gets this huge pot of money.
Wow.
And just recently, did you hear today, they announced that in Los Angeles County, they used $1 billion to just give iPads to poor students.
Oh, I know.
And they said that
No. It's. I think people. It seems like that the left is buying votes.
Of course.
And they're doing it by
creating, manufacturing votes, just like they manufactured our president.
It just is sad to me. It's a sad commentary. Now you mentioned you're going to be running for office in the 2014, or you're considering it.
I don't know. We'll see. You know, the problem is, what is the point for any honest person to run for office when you have evidence of elections fraud and bogus voter registrations and corrupt judges covering it all up?
Right.
We need to push through the court system, and that is why it's so important for people to be there in court. And also, I hope that everybody shows up this week. There is a rally in Washington, D.C. There is a veterans rally. There is a truckers rally.
Well, if people want to get in touch with you, what's your website
address? Thank you. It's Orly Taitz, ESQ.com. O, R as in Rita, L as in Lena, Y, Taitz, T as in Tom, A, I, T as in Tom, Z as in Zoo, ESQ like Esquire.com. So please go, and I have all of the documents, all of the sworn affidavits on my website, so you can download it. Any document is available on the right-hand side. It says Obama file, 150 pages, all sworn affidavits.
And if you want to get in touch with Orly, she'll be in touch. She'll be happy to contact her.
Yes, everything, all my information is on my website.
Well, thank you very much for being on Night Lights again. It's really a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And I ask you to come back next week. We've got some exciting new programs coming up. I've had 7 appearances on TV appearances in the last 9 months on various channels around the country, and we're going to be showing some of those in some upcoming shows. And I'm also hopeful to have an ex-gang leader who's now helping kids get out of gangs, tell his story. His name is Ruben De La Torre. He's featured. He's one of the 16 people in my new book, 16 Amazing Stories. Check that out on the internet. You have my 800 number, and make sure you call me if you have any information you want to share with me, if you want to check out my new book, anything. I'll be happy to get in touch with you. It'd be wonderful hearing from you on Night Lights TV. Anyway, God bless you and have a good evening. Thank you once again for joining Night Lights, and see you next week.